You're working hard, saying all the right things, but nobody's saying yes. Let's talk about why. Typically, what happens when we go and we prospect is we are given a script and we're told, here's what you need to say if you want to set appointments with people. The problem is nobody teaches us the other skills that we need with that. Your job as a real estate agent really is to become a great communicator. And nobody ever taught you that in real estate school. Typically, my guess would be your manager didn't teach you that that's really what your job is to become a great communicator, and that we need to learn how to communicate in such a way that is going to cause people to want to set appointments with us. And so here's what I've found the problem is. Typically, we're given a script. We're told we need to go and learn that script, and you need to learn what to say, which is great. That's important. It's helpful. It's going to help you know what to say as you go and talk to people. The problem is it's not the script that is typically the issue. It's usually going to be this problem is you and how you're delivering the script. I had a good friend that used to say that if you are a jerk and you are using a script, you're now just a scripted jerk. And so you have to become the type of person, and you've got to internalize that script to where it actually can sound natural, and you can use that in a way that is going to allow people to get into connection or to rapport with you so that they will want to set an appointment. So that's what I want to talk about today is really the problem with your prospecting is not the words you're using or how hard you're working. It's you haven't been taught how to get people to respond and actually talk to you. So the thing that I would like to talk about to you today is how do we create this connection, or sometimes people will call it rapport. How do I get the connection or the rapport with people so that when I'm prospecting, they will want to talk to me? So typically, whatever your script is, I don't really care what the script is. I don't care who created the script. I'm great with just about any script that's out there. Now, obviously, there's going to be some exceptions to that. But the issue is not the script typically. It's how you're using the script is what the problem is. So here's what typically happens is we use that script, we don't get the results that we're looking for. Here's why. What you need to do is you've got to always start. Every script is going to start with asking some type of a question. So you are going to ask them a question. Here's the problem is we ask the question, and once we have asked the question, we usually then go right to the next question. But the problem is what we've got to do is after we've asked the question, we're going to let them then respond. They're going to say, no, I've never thought about it. No, I don't know anybody thinking about buying or selling. No, I'm not interested in talking to you, whatever it is. But whatever question you ask. So if you were to ask them, how long have you lived in this home? And they answer and they said to you, 5 years, 10 years, 3 months, 2 days. Like, I don't care what it is that they say or how they respond to that question when I ask them, how long have you lived in this home? The key thing is once they respond, you then need to repeat back what they said and affirm what they said. You've got to repeat back and you've got to affirm or accept. That could be another way of saying it. But you've got to make sure, and I want to challenge you to try this today. Walk up to really anybody. It almost doesn't matter who it is, an agent in your office, whatever, and just say, hey, how long have you lived in your home? And when they answer, whatever it is, 2 months, 5 months, 20 years, whatever it is, here's how I want you to respond. Now, make sure you're watching the video as I do this because you want to see my face of how I respond on this. You're going to say, so how long have you lived at this address? They're going to then say, well, I've been here for 5 years. And you're going to go, 5 years? Wow, that's great. Now, if they said 20 years, I'm going to go, 20 years? Wow, that's awesome. If they said 2 months, I'm going to go, 2 months? Wow, that's great. Where did you move from? So notice that is what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat and affirm, but UCLA did a study. And in this study, what they found is that communication consists of 3 things. There are 3 parts to communication. 7% is the words that we use. 38% of our communication is the tone that we talk with, and 55% is our body language. So when you're talking to somebody and you're using the script, only 7% of the communication is those words. That's why I'm saying that just having a script doesn't fix the problem. Notice it's the tone and the body language, which is why it's so important that when you're talking to them and you say to somebody, so how long have you lived here? And they say to you, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, I'm going to go, wow, 3 years, that's awesome. Notice the tone that I used and the body language. I leaned in, my eyebrows went up. What? That's great. That's what we've got to do is we've got to repeat and affirm. Now, what if, though, somebody were to say something to you that you don't want to be excited about? Well, if it's something you shouldn't be excited about, like they just said, well, my spouse passed away and that's why I moved here. You don't want to be like, your spouse passed away? That's great. Like, obviously, you don't want to do that. Instead, though, I might want to say, oh, you're kidding. Man, I'm so sorry. That has got to be so rough. So you want to make sure, you're repeating back, oh, your spouse passed away. Ah, man, I'm so sorry. That's got to be so tough. So we're going to repeat back. But again, the key on this is not just the words, it's having the tone and the body language to go with it. So you'll notice when I wasn't excited, I gave a little bit of a, oh man, I'm sorry. Like notice the facial expressions, the way the body worked, the tone that I used. Oh, you're kidding. Man, that's rough. Somebody says they lost your job. Oh, you lost your job? Man, I am so sorry. That's rough. But then notice what I'm going to do next is the next thing is I'm going to loop back up here and I'm just going to ask another question. So I'm going to say, you've lived here for 5 years? Wow, that's great. So where did you move from? And then they're going to tell me where they moved from. And then I'm just going to do this same thing. I want to do the same thing, just doing it over and over and over again. Now, the next piece of this that I want to talk to you about that is possibly hurting you in your scripting and in your prospecting is the other piece of this we've got to use is empathy. The other thing we've got to use when we're prospecting is we've got to include empathy in what we are talking to them about. So for example, especially with for sale by owners or expired listings, if you're working for sale by owners or expired listings, you for sure have to use empathy, because when you call a for sale by owner and they answer the phone and you start to talk to them and they figure out that you're a real estate agent, they are immediately, if they've been on the market for any time at all, unless you're the first person to call or second, they're going to be like, oh, I've gotten so many calls from real estate agents. And what you want to do with a for sale by owner or an expired is you've got to use empathy. And empathy is, if I were you, I would feel the same way. Or if I were you, I would be doing the exact same thing. You've got to use empathy inside of your prospecting to create this connection and rapport with people. Without that connection and rapport, you haven't earned the right to then go to the next piece, which is going to be to talk about creating value, which I'll do in a different video. But you've got to make sure you're doing this empathy with them, because that's what's going to create some connection and rapport. So let me give you an example. You call a for sale by owner or an expired, and as soon as they kick into talking about, I've gotten calls for so many real estate agents, the thing that I like to say, and I got this from a good friend of mine, is I love to say, I know you kick a bush and a realtor runs out. And generally, when you do that, you will get some type of a laugh from them or some type of a response where they're like, yeah, you understand what I'm talking about. And then the other thing that I will say is, I know next thing you know, they're going to be flying over your house. They're dropping down pamphlets of why you should list your house with them. And they're going to be like, yeah, that's exactly right. See, notice by using empathy and me being able to empathize with them, put yourself into their mindset and think about how are they feeling, and then tell them this is what it probably feels like. You've got to feel like you had, especially let's talk an expired. You've had your home for sale for 6 months. Nobody came. People weren't looking at it. All of a sudden it comes off the market. You're getting calls from 30, 50 agents, whatever it is. You got to be asking yourself, like, where were all these agents the whole time my house is for sale? And the moment they go, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. If you get somebody to say, that's exactly what I was thinking, you know you have created that connection and rapport. So to improve your prospecting, make sure that you are creating this connection and rapport with people, not just doing just words. Make sure that the tone and the body language are in alignment with that by you letting them know you heard what they said, you understand what they said, you agree with what they said, or you empathize with what they said. And what you will find is you will get much more success from your prospecting.